Hey guys, Legendary Grimlock here, and today we have Can Goliath beat Monster Hunter? So the same rules apply as with the Grimlock one, except it's a very specific gauntlet, as we want to keep it as versatile as possible here on this channel. However, Goliath will be allowed to eat and consume the monsters, pretty much gaining him new health for him to travel to each region, as Goliath has never had stamina issues as well here. And Goliath will also be able to adapt anything he can gain from the monsters to his biology. Keep in mind this is something that's within Goliath's what's the word I'm looking for? I guess you say parameters, as when he consumes something or another being, or at least an apex monster, he's able to adapt their biology to it. So you guys see the gauntlet here. We have Nargacuga, Seregios, Seltas Queen, Lunagaron, Ebony, odogaron, Espinas, Gorrong, and, well, the Goliath duo here, Raging Brachydios, and Dio Rex here, with the boss being Frostfang Barrioth. Now, it's pretty simple to scale, at least the higher ups here, and they would easily scale to, like, planetary here. You can easily scale them to Goldarathian, who in her kinship here. And yes, Monster Hunter Stories does have like some outrageous scaling here with things like, well, again, Goldarathian here actually being a decent scaling point for a lot of the Elder Dragon level or rare species or deviant level beings to be able to, well, perform these feats here, where, as you guys can see, Goldarathian was able to create a miniature black hole, which, again, would not put her at star level. This would actually be planetary, because, again, the size and mass of a black hole still exceeds more than the planet here. So, with that being said here, how strong is Goliath with his fire breath, rock throw, and all that stuff? So Goliath would easily scale above the host here. The host is one of the few canceled monsters that unfortunately never got to appear because they had like animation problems, in all honesty. Same with the Velvet Worm. But it's actually confirmed that in a war alongside the Behemoths and Leviathans, before they came to the planet Sheer, that they were able to destroy their planet. And Goliath is confirmed greater than all of them, easily putting him at either multi-continental at the lower ends to the higher ends. Goliath would also, in speed, scale to faster than light or relativistic speeds here. This is confirmed because some of the hunters actually use weapons like lightning guns and use plasma lasers. Now this is important because you can either get Goliath to faster than light to, again, massively hypersonic at the lowest ends here. This is because, you can scale lightning to like 1/3 the speed of light if you want to. And then you also have the sheer fact that plasma can be, equated to, well, light speed, or at least the speed of light. Sometimes slower, sometimes faster. It does depend. But again, with the hunters actually trying to kill Goliath here, it makes no sense why they would reduce it to, FTL or slower speeds here. So without further ado, we can move on to our first monster. And as you guys can see, we have the Seltas Queen and one Seltas. Now, this is one of the easier fights for Goliath, as I don't think he struggles with a Seltas Queen, even at like stage 2 in all honesty. Yes, Goliath is stage 3. I think that's well established by now that I use stage 3 monsters when doing these what ifs and stuff like that, or these survival scenarios for these specific monsters here. But a Seltas Queen, honestly, doesn't have too much that can really harm Goliath here. It's a very tricky monster, and I do think Goliath would definitely have to use his intelligence to, just figure it out for a little bit, and then, go like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna kill you. This is gonna be quick here. But what makes the Seltas Queen, I guess you could say, somewhat of a challenge here is the, well, Seltas and its versatility. You see, the Seltas is actually capable of utilizing the water element, utilizing highly pressurized water. All right, this is able to harm the hunters here, with the hunters having, still, at this point in time, since it's a base level monster, mountain level durability and stuff like that, with, the Seltas possibly even scaling to that, or at least scaling to city level at its lowest. And again, the highest I could pretty much give it is mountain level. So, yeah. Goliath should honestly have no problem with it here, except it might, I don't know, Goliath might actually observe the Seltas just doing one thing here. I think Goliath could definitely just punch the Seltas and be done with it, burn it, smash it, and just eat it here. But the thing is, I think Seltas is intelligent enough to kind of play a distance game and trying to blast Goliath with all it has until it has nothing left here. This also would use the Seltas to kind of distract it, but the thing is, I don't see the Seltas getting like eaten by the Seltas Queen. I do think it would be possible if the Seltas Queen does get away with the Seltas and she winds up, you know, doing her usual thing and eating it. But yeah, I think Goliath would probably take the Seltas and then just start eating it himself here. I mean, we're talking about a dude that is reacting to jetpack powered hunters, reacting to lightning guns, reacting to plasma laser pulses and stuff like that. And in all honesty, he's not going to have too much of an issue dealing with or even trying to put down the Seltas Queen here. I honestly see this going as like the Seltas Queen tries everything she can, but it's not really affecting Goliath here. So in all honesty, yeah, he eats her. Next one up we have is Seregios. Now this is where some difficulty does come from here, as I do think Goliath would be able to attack some Seregios here, and Seregios is definitely a lot different than the hunters here. I mean, it's a flying, scale shooting monster with, you know, dagger or jagged edge spikes to the point where you get hit with these, you don't even heal right, which is insane here. And I do think Goliath can definitely tank these spikes pretty easily. I mean, why wouldn't he? I mean, he's tanked far greater attacks from, well, the hunters and their barrage. Keep in mind, the hunters themselves are from the year 2030 here. I mean, I'm not saying they're as powerful as the monster hunter. Let's be real, they're not. And the monster hunter does use magic to kind of get his way here. But Goliath could possibly even burn the scales away. As we know, Seregios has some or possibly some vulnerability to the likes of Rathalos and Rathian's fire, as he's seen and known to kind of like not risk getting hit by it. Because here's the thing, if he had a fire resistance, wouldn't he be like able to tank that pretty easily? Now you could say that is because, you know, it's a stronger fireball, or the blast and devastation of the attack is far more greater than Rathian's. And again, you'd be right, Rathalos does have higher, you know, attack potency than his mate. I think that's, you know, been well established throughout the Monster Hunter lore. But I do think Rathian could have greater strength than her mate. It is possible because she is lower, she's more centered, and she would probably be able to swing her tail a lot more powerfully. But again, Seregios is kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a mosquito or a fly fighting against a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I mean, what can the fly do? And again, Goliath is out here tanking full-blown missile or air barrages from the most advanced hunters ever. Now again, these are hunters pretty much prepared and trying to kill these monsters. And yet Goliath is capable of not only adapting and evolving, but learning from these hunters. Keep in mind, Goliath's intelligence plays a very big factor here as well, as he's learning Seregios' movements. And in all honesty, it might be just when Seregios swoops in that Goliath kind of just goes for his charge attack and proceeds to just knock Seregios out, or uses it to knock him back, throw him into a rock or the area they're in, because I do think he would fight them in the desert, let's be real here. And he would go on, pouncing on and finishing all Seregios. So yeah, he moves on to the next round. So next off, we have Nargacuga. Now this one is actually, it's actually going to be difficult, because we're going to put this in a nighttime forest area here. And in all honesty, this one's going to be a pain. It's like Nargacuga is going to be in a pain in the butt. Let's be real here. I mean, the surroundings and the way Nargacuga moves and stuff like that. Yeah, he definitely is going to have a whole lot of advantages over Goliath. Better night vision, better senses, all that good stuff here. And Goliath does have to rely on his other senses. Yes, he is able to see in the dark, so that does mean he is a nocturnal predator. But Nargacuga has way better camouflage, and I think is much better at being a nocturnal predator than Goliath here. However, Nargacuga really not much that can affect Goliath. I mean, Goliath is built far better. some minor damage to Goliath, he's just going to ignore it and just push through. And again, there are a lot of things the hunters have done that can honestly affect Goliath's durability.
Let's head back and share the news.
You know, Kraken's biology, which is another monster that actually is just very versatile and very powerful. Maybe he'll be in another survival video here on this channel here. But in all honesty, yeah, he's going to have he's not going to have too much of a hard time dealing with Nargacuga. Now, back to the Kraken biology I was saying earlier, excuse me. Kraken's biology was pretty much used to try and bypass the durability of Goliath. And it worked to some degree, but then he's still able to, get this, evolve, adapt, and overcome it here. I think that Goliath's senses, which allow him to pretty much map out, like, state-sized areas and stuff like that, because that's just the range that the hunter's bases somewhat cover in any way, and him being able to map that out and stuff like that with pretty much his sense of smell, probably a combination of the senses and stuff like that, does mean that Goliath should be able to figure out not only where Nargacuga is, but to actually grasp him. So this means that Goliath actually clears the round 1 with simply just low to mid difficulty. I would say mid difficulty because Seregios might keep to the skies for a little bit, but once he gets close, it's over. And the same as Nargacuga, trying to use hit and run tactics. But eventually, Goliath gets a hold of him, and it's over. Now, next off, we have Ebony Odogaron. Now, this one is definitely been more interesting. Odogaron can actually harm Goliath here because of his claws. Keep in mind, I said it before in my Lunagaron versus Odogaron video that Odogaron's claws are actually made to pierce, slash, and rip. That's how his bleeding, or at least how his claws work, and causes bleed damage. Plus, his jaws are evidently bone crushing, not by the way his teeth are structured, but by the way his jaws work and how they, I guess you say, interact with other foes. They're meant to crunch and pierce armor. Even the armor of even more advanced Glavenuses, like acidic Glavenus. You even have the sheer fact that Goliath's jaws as well are also meant to crush bone. 13 times greater than 13 crocodiles. Or sorry, his jaw is greater than that of 13 crocodiles. Like, do y'all understand how powerful that is? Like, take the strongest crocodile bite force and then multiply that by 13. That's Goliath's jaw strength. And then you have Ebony Odogaron, who again would be greater than that, but possibly not to the same amount. But let's say it is. Let's say their bite force is equalized here. Then Goliath has to do is just grab Odogaron, because he is bigger than him, and hold his jaw shut, because he's still physically stronger than the likes of an Odogaron here. And in all honesty, the dragon element that Odogaron uses isn't really going to be handy here, because it's confirmed he does not have a full mastery of it. At least not yet. He kind of uses it to like blast chunks of dragon-infused energy meat at his opponents and stuff to cause dragon blight, or he has to bite his opponents in order to cause dragon blight. Which means that the moment he tries to go for a blight, a bite on Odogaron, that's pretty much going to be it. He's going to have the dude right where he wants him. And then Goliath is just going to pick the man apart. Now, this is actually pretty interesting because this means that Goliath now can gain an ability, and this is the part where we have to get into a speculative evolution. Now, this isn't really my thing here, and I may do it for future videos because I do have to do some ecology content for the monsters and wyverns, or the dinosaur and wyvern kingdom section. But with him overcoming and eating an Ebony Odogaron, we have to discuss how the dragon energy might apply to him. Keep in mind, dragon energy isn't a 100% guarantee to make Goliath stable. But the thing is, Goliath's cells are adaptable. You know, it's very different, and it's not the same situation where there's like Scorn and Magnum Mallow where he suddenly just develops it, right? These Goliath and the rest of the evolved monsters are extremely adaptable to the point where Goliath can consume at least a fragment of a star and become Meteor Goliath. And in all honesty, Meteor Goliath might be the similar direction that he gets from eating a dragon sack. His cells pretty much adapting and applying the dragon energy, maybe in the same way that a Raging Brachydios applies the slime mode, or how a Molten Tigerex pretty much applies its it's trying to think of the word here. Blast powder. That's what I'm trying to say. It's blast powder here. And again, Meteor Goliath would still have his fire breath, his, his inferno explosion and stuff like that, his inferno charge and stuff. But again, it would have to do something with that dragon energy, and it would have a way to use it. It's very possible he would use it to kind of, maybe in the same way that Odogaron's able to use meat and kind of pump himself into this overdrive state here, actually utilizing the, I guess you could say, the dragon energy to boost his physical capabilities. However, again, with Goliath not really having any stamina issues or getting tired really, yeah, he could possibly use it to probably a more efficient rate, I should say here, than than Odogaron, excuse me. So with that out of the way, we can move on to this speculative version going up against Lunagaron. And in all honesty, this might be a little bit overkill. Lunagaron is Elder Dragon level. Yes, yes he is. But the thing is, though, he's up against, well, a Goliath that's now boosted with Elder Dragon level energy, or Elder Dragon level kryptonite, if you will. Because again, yes, the Elder Dragons, some of them are able to emit dragon energy here, but they don't use it to like such a degree. Dragon energy can actually harm an Elder Dragon more than it could help here. And in all honesty, Lunagaron's claws are probably not going to do as much damage as an Odogaron's would. Because again, Lunagaron's claws are made for attraction and for slashing. You can even say for grappling as well here, but this would honestly just play into Goliath's favor, because Goliath is more top heavy and has a lot more, I guess you could say, control of his sensor mass with on two legs than Zinogre. Because remember, Zinogre can still get snatched up by monsters like Anjanath, Fulgor Anjanath, and Brachydios and Glavenus. And with Goliath having more control, more center, packing much more of a hit than those two, especially when they're on two legs here, and especially packing now Elder Dragon level punches here. Or again, dragon energy punches or dragon element punches here, it really leaves the, what's the word I'm trying to say here? It leaves the door open for just how badly a Lunagaron would get whooped out during this fight here. There's no guarantee, and again, there's really no guarantee that Lunagaron makes this out okay here. It's more against him at this point than with him being able to overcome it. Yes, he's able to get around much stronger kaiju than himself. Sorry, not kaiju. Wyverns or fanged beasts than themselves here, than like Garen Gollum. Garen Gollum is still stronger than the likes of Lunagaron. However, Garen Gollum doesn't have a solid back defense like Goliath here. Lunagaron trying to pounce and climb around is likely to just get hit with one of his spikes. And again, I don't think Goliath is pretty out of character when trying to, use these spikes in battle here. As a matter of fact, I think it would actually play into Goliath's favor again here, like Odogaron would, for Lunagaron to honestly get close here. And to be honest, I don't see him struggling with Lunagaron once that happens. Even an afflicted version of Lunagaron just doesn't have the same chances as, even a regular one. It doesn't have the same chances here. Even with something like in Ebony Odogaron, at least Odogaron had the Dragon Element, but Lunagaron just has its Frost Sack, its claws, and its ice armor, but we know that can be straight up shattered by physical might. And again, I do think that Goliath is going to hit a lot harder than the likes of a Garen Gollum if it was able to connect, and then a Malzeno just simply dropping Lunagaron or simply just slamming him into the ground with so much force that his ice armor shatters. So in all honesty, yeah, Goliath is moving on yet again. And now we have the end of this third quarter with Espinas. I mean, why not, right? The Elder Dragon level, Kushala Deora beating Espinas, right? But does Espinas have what it takes to put down this version, this now fully evolved meteor elder dragon or dragon energy producing Goliath? And in all honesty, no, he doesn't. You see, the monsters are immune to poison, as there are like poison clouds within the evolved game, which the monsters can walk through and just not be harmed by him at all. So again, they're able to literally bypass, things like poison, stuff like that, poison gases, and even poison injections and stuff like that, and anything that's really meant to bypass their durability. So Espinas, all he has is his fire. Now, yes, his fire and poison do, mix here. But again, all he has is his fire, and his flight here. And again, that's not a guaranteed victory in all honesty. Goliath is going to overpower that regardless, using the explosions likely to upset Espinas's footing, and then using his fire breath likely to just pulverize him, just likely to use his fire breath to pulverize Goliath and send him, sorry, not pulverize Goliath, pulverize Espinas and send him flying. Like, in all honesty, he clears round 2 with just mid difficulty. So yeah, he's moving on with utter ease on this one. He's got nothing he could do. Now let's head up to round 3. Raging Brachydios. Now, believe it or not, this is actually going to be the most brutal one of this entire thing. And in all honesty, it's very simple. Why? I mean, Goliath does have the long range attack advantage. He's able to, use his blue fire breath, using his, I guess you could say, better combat skills in order to actually get the upper hand on Raging Brachydios here, which is a very big possibility. I mean, Raging Brachydios is an absolute behemoth, and in all honesty, I kind of see it for Goliath just kind of playing it long range, using the dragon energy, using the explosions, and in all honesty, it's actually pretty close, believe it or not here. But again, Goliath is not only faster, he's smarter, and in the end, that should be able to give him the win. But let's move on to the next opponent, the Dio Rex. Now, the Dio Rex is basically a Tiger Rex on steroids. You see, using its electrical powers and abilities, it fused several ores to itself. Basically, it fused metal into itself and its body, basically having this electric conducting body here. And it's actually way more dangerous than a regular Tiger Rex. This thing can cause literally electrical explosions from every limb of its body, even its feet. Like, you don't see that with a lot of monsters here. And in all honesty, this is definitely going to be the hardest fight with Goliath here. And I mean, even with the dragon energy, even though that probably could be the way to go here, yeah, this is still going to be a tough here. It's like brute force against brute force. It's like two unstoppable objects going at each other. Like, it's virtually impossible to say that Goliath gets a clean win on this one. Now, again, can he win? Yes, he can. He still has the powers and capabilities, plus with his dragon energy and his boosted fire breath, fire charge capabilities, he's definitely fighting something he didn't expect here. But again, with that being said here, if he does beat him, and I do think he can, definitely overpower it, causing possibly some heat and electricity to collide here, may actually disrupt a lot of things. Like, it could definitely disrupt a lot here. And in all honesty, I don't know what would happen if their fire and electricity with that dragon energy as well pretty much just collided into it. But again, if dragon energy does get a hold of it, it could nullify some of the powers and capabilities of Dio Rex, thus giving Goliath the win. Now, for the tag team matchup, Lele and Ro. So, these Go Rough twins, these Fang Beasts, are actually little magnetos. Yeah, they're actually able to create magnetic pulse waves, which are able to pretty much just, repel his opponents. Yeah, I may have jumped the gun here and put him ahead of the Dio Rex, but, yeah, this tag team's kind of easy. They're pretty simple. And yeah, they are attack team, so that means that magnetic wave is just going to, repulse Goliath maybe a little bit. But again, with the fire, the upgraded fire now, and possibly if he does, whatchamacallit, if he does, eat Dio Rex, he may have another power boost on top of it. So in all honesty, yeah, I could see him clearing it, but this would be high difficulty with, again, Raging Brachydios and Dio Rex being the most difficult of the two. So now that the wild cards are out the way, let's get into the boss. Frostfang Barioth versus this Elder Dragon level Goliath at this point here. And in all honesty, this is I would say this is pretty even, pretty back and forth here. I do think Frostfang Barioth is Elder Dragon level, especially with how it's developed, how it's made, and where its ranking is in the game. Now, in all honesty, the ranking could be, a little over the top here, but again, it is Frostfang Barioth here. But with that being said here, yeah, I see Goliath actually being able to win this one. Yeah, I do. Because again, the weakness of Frostfang Barioth is still fire. And that, Goliath has a much stronger fire at this point with his now added on Elder Dragon boost, or his Dragon Element boost, if you will. Now with, whatever he can gain from the DRX, maybe he gains electrical powers on top of it. You never know. But overall here, Goliath actually takes this gauntlet pretty fairly on this one here. And do I say he does better than Grimlock did in the last one? In all honesty, no, I think he does struggle a bit more than Grimlock does, but that is because Grimlock is a bit more overpowered, and it's Fall of Cybertron Grimlock, one of the few stronger versions of him going up against Monster Hunter here. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share it with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope y'all have a blessed day. And rest in peace, Akira Toriyama.